and to those in the Stanford Victims Group, our hearts go out to you. This matter is not over, and I certainly admire, and all of us admire, your diligence and your persistence in staying in the fight. Mr. Kotz, I want to say first of all, thank you for your hard work, your very long but very detailed and revealing report. And so I just want to express on my behalf, we really appreciate the effort that you made in putting this together.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, Mr. Ketchum, when we look at this issue, and we look at the things here, we look at the efforts of FINRA, did FINRA review, and I have a few of their marketing materials that would, do you review these materials, your agency?
FINRA reviews advertising materials that specifically go to the sale of products. Yes, they don't review every material that broker dealers put out.
But you do review most, or at least you make an effort to review.
We review products that in one way or another try to sell securities.
Okay. Do you request those materials from them, or do they send them to you on a voluntary basis?
No, they're obligated by rule to send them to us.
You know, when you look at many of these, it says here in the fine print, in most of these, it says security products and services in the United States are offered through Stanford Group Company member FINRA and SIPC. Would the average investor conclude from reading that there was SIPC coverage?
Well, difficult without seeing the full thing there and what they say about the CDs that were being sold, but clearly Stanford cynically used the broker-dealer to create the impression that there was going to be coverage. Yes.
Well, I guess if this hearing underlies the contention that the victims believe that they were indeed purchasing registered securities, and in fact they were not, and that the SEC failed to do its job, then the question for all the victims here and for us is, why would these victims' investments not be covered by SIPC?
Well, I think that's a fair question, though fairly I think I properly should defer that to the SEC that has the oversight responsibility with respect to SIPC.
Well, tell me what efforts FINRA made to protect the investors, of these Stanford investors.
Well, as I indicated in both my written statement and oral statement, clearly not enough. We as well missed red flags that indicated concerns. We as well as the SEC became overly intimidated by the jurisdictional issues and the issues as to whether the CDs were securities, and didn't focus on the fundamental exposure and risk to investors, and that was unacceptable behavior and unacceptable from the standpoint of how we responded.
Well, let me ask a specific. When this is being reviewed and you're looking at information, go back to 2007. When it's determined that SGC had an almost $3 million overdrawn account in 2007, what did FINRA do in response to that?
I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what you're referring to with respect to the $3 million over.
Well, in the investigation, looking at the thing, there may be a question that one of the other witnesses could answer better, but did FINRA take any action? When was the first action that FINRA took to protect investors?
Well, our actions were cooperative with the SEC from the standpoint of the investigation that finally led to the actions in 2009. We also commenced investigations, just as the SEC does, in part from a Dallas-Fort Worth referral with respect to the case that did not lead to actions other than a minor action with respect to advertising that Stanford put out.
Mr. Chairman, I thank you. With that, I yield back my time.